So in the
Okay.
let it load. Okay. Now I directly wrote the test case, right? Instead of that, click on this, create a folder here, say example history. Okay. Now put the history test cases under history module.
Okay.
Okay. You see, all this all will be under history. Now create a folder for immunization, create a folder for vitals, and put all the test cases. So now I know that these test cases are for history module.
Oh, okay.
Got it?
Got it. Yeah.
Any other questions?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, you got it.
I was able to write one test case. I did not go through the rest of the things, but I had a question there. So I added my requirements in requirements folder, and I moved on to test plan and started writing test cases there.
Okay.
And I did not do the check-in while I'm exiting from the requirements. So when I try to do the requirement coverage here, I did not get my requirements. So that means I definitely need to do.
Yes, you have to check in.
Okay.
See what
that I did actually. See what every time we need.
Yeah, see what it is that sometimes some companies do not enable version control. Okay. If they don't enable version control, you don't need to check in and check out and all. Oh God. You getting me?
Yes.
But here I have requested them to enable the version control for our better understanding. Understood?
Okay.
So here you have, once the version control is enabled, you have to check out. You have no other option. You have to check in order to get your details.
Yeah, that's what I did. But it's based on the version control. If it is enabled, definitely we need to do the check-in.
Yes.
Okay. So
today's class, today we are going to continue with the quality center that we were looking at, what we were discussing yesterday. So yesterday we saw how to write test cases, how to map test cases, how to do requirement traceability mapping, all those things we saw. Now today what we are going to see is two things: how to execute those test cases that we wrote, and how to raise a defect, map the defect to those test cases. That's what we are going to see now. So now in order to execute the test cases, I have to go to test lab. This is where we are going to execute the test cases. So again here I have to create a test set. So I'm going to go create a new folder. I'm going to say QA batch 176. And then in that folder I'm going to create a test set. Now I'm going to give here, say example, what do you say, release 1 manual test round 1. Something like that, whatever you want, that's nothing major about it. Just give it, I'll leave it okay. Give okay. Now you see here multiple tabs have been generated. Now what we are going to work with is execution grid. Go to execution grid. Now here we have to add our test cases here. In order to execute all the test cases that we designed, we have to put it under one test set. I can have multiple test sets with the same test cases, but only if it's in the test set you will be able to execute your test cases. So I'm going to say select test, go to the test case where you have designed, select the test case, give OK, done. Now the test case is here. Now I'm going to run it. I'm going to click on run manually. Now when I click on run manually, I get this manual runner window. I can provide whatever comment I want. You want to give, don't give, that's up to you guys. Okay. Now what is the test case? Now I have to say begin run, but be careful. When you click on begin run, there is a clock that starts. So it will monitor how long you took to run the test case also. So that report is pulled by the project manager to decide on who did many test cases in a given period of time, right? Also for the next release, how much time is required for running the entire suite. All this information is taken from there. So I'm going to click on begin run. Now it first pops me out the parameter list. I know that there are 3 parameters here. Okay. Now I like okay, fine. I know that there are 3 parameters. Okay, fine. Now this is your test step. Now what is the first step? Says launch Cairo application. Expected is Cairo application is displayed. Now where is the parameter? Click on the parameter here, P. Launch here. This is the description. So now I'm going to launch the application here. Application is launched. Close. So what is the expected? What is this? Display board in displayed? Okay, something. So I can't make changes here. So but say example application is displayed. So I will say Cairo application is displayed. Cairo application is displayed. Now I'll go to my status, click on my status, and I can say passed. Now I can do one at a time, or I can do all the steps, complete all the steps, and then go here and say pass all. That will pass all. Or if you say fail all, it will fail all. So now we are going to do the next step. Next step is enter the username and password. So I am going to enter the username and password. Okay, click on the sign in button. So I clicked on the sign in button. Dashboard page is displayed. Here, okay, home page is displayed. Yes, dashboard page is displayed. Okay, I'm not going to run it past now. I know it passed, so I'll do it later. Select menu, patience, menu, patience. Okay, I got a patient search page. Okay, patient page. Okay, that's done. Next one, click on new patient button. Okay. Displayed, perfect. Next, I'm going to click on enter the first name in the text field. So I entered a first name, I entered a last name. I gave a date of birth. Okay. Now I gave a date of birth. I selected sex. Now say example, I gave a wrong date of birth. I gave it as -17. Say example, this is the test case that we want to do, and the date of birth is, even though I gave say right date of birth, the current age is correct, but it's showing this error message. So that means the actual is not meeting the expected. Okay. So this step passed. This step passed, and here say somewhere this sixth step where I have to enter the date of birth. There it's showing this particular screen. So what I will do, I will use my snippet tool. I'll use my snippet tool. I'll take a screenshot of this error message. You see here, I'll take a screenshot of this error message. Then I'm going to save it. I'll put it in my desktop. I'll just say like create patient. Okay. Now, since we'll do it in the same system, you can just upload it. But here I use a different system, so I have to now find it in my list of desktop items. I'll take this. I'll put it in my desktop here. Okay. So now this particular step has failed. So what I'll do, I'll first pass all, and then this step I'll say failed. This one I will say not completed because this step itself failed. So I'll say DOB error message even when right DOB is provided. Okay, and then what you will do, you will fail the test case, right? You can fail the test case. I will hit the end run. So that's once one step fails, you cannot go to the next step. So done. I'll stop it. Now if you see the overall, even though all the steps passed, one step failed, the overall status is failed. Okay. Now what you need to do? You need to raise a defect. Now defect is where? What do you mean by defect? Let's see what you mean by defect. Now defect means that if the expected does not meet the actual, then this is what you call defect. Now if anyone asks you what is defect, you need to say if expected does not meet the actual, we call that a defect. Now what do you mean by that? Say example, I am expecting that when I click on the, say let's take a simple example of an email application. When I click on compose, I should get a window or a pop-up where I can write my email and click on the send button to send the email. If this page, that's what is expected. That's what is expected. But actually when you clicked on it, you didn't get this. That means that there is a gap between the expected and the actual, and the gap is called defect. Guys, you are able to understand? Any questions? Yes?
Rajesh, when expected does not meet the actual, we are giving the status as failed, right?
Yes.
So when we distinguish in between fail and defect?
When the expected does not meet the actual, right? We say that the test case is failed. Okay. Now you know the test case is failed. That there is an issue. There is a problem. That's why you failed this test case. Correct?
Yes.
Now what happens? How do you track this failure? How do you tell the developer that something has failed and I want you to fix it? How do you track this? Similarly, like say example, you are running a set of test cases and there are 3 test cases that failed. Similarly, another person is running a set of test cases and 2 test cases have failed in that. How do you track these 2? How do you say this? Say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are different issues. You need to say this is issue 1, issue 2, issue 3, 4, 5. You need to uniquely identify that, right? Correct.
Yes, Rajesh.
Otherwise, you cannot follow up, right? How will you say immunization that the defect? No, the one defect, one of the defect I raised. How will you say that? So you will say in immunization defect ID XYZ. Then they know that you are talking about this particular defect. Correct?
Yes.
So you have to track it. For that, we raise this particular in the defect section. We raise a defect which will automatically create a defect ID.
Okay.
Now,
so far we have not seen the defect section, right?
We have not done that. That's what we are going to go. But before that, I want to explain what is defect. That's what I'm doing now. You understood?
Yes.
Getting me?
Yes, Rajesh. For example, you are saying that 1, 2, 3. So these are the, I'm writing one test case and there are like 10 steps. 3 steps have been failed and the rest of them passed, or at least one out of 10.
No, wait, hold on. You can never have 3 steps failed. If the first step fails, the test case is failed. That's all. You will not go to the next step only.
Okay.
Say example, you have 10 steps. Okay. In the 10 steps, the first step failed. When the first step failed only, you can't go to the next step without finishing the first step, right?
So we will stop there.
You will immediately stop there and raise a defect.
Okay.
That's what you are going to do. You can have 10 passed and 1 failed. You cannot have 3 failed and 9 passed.
Yes, and I have got one more question here. For example, 1 step fail and we are not able to move forward, and that is a fail. We give as a status as fail, and when so that definitely something as a test engineer I decide it is a defect, or it has to be approved by a manager, then only we call it as a defect.
That good question. I will come to that. Okay. As I'm explaining, I will explain that. Hold on to your question now. Wait, I'm going to explain that in a couple of minutes. After that, if you still have a question for that particular question, let me know. Okay.
Yeah.
Monica, hold on to that question. I will explain it.
Sure. Because while I was executing the test cases today, some of the steps I have written like fail. So when I have to treat that is as like it's a defect. So that's why I'm asking. So I will wait for your answer.
Yes. Wait for my answer. I will explain that. Okay. Yeah. Boliye, madam.
Rajesh, so what about that first 7 test case right, and then the 8th one is defect?
7 test case or 7 steps?
7 steps. I'm sorry, 7 steps.
Yeah. If you have say 10 steps and the last step is failed, that is 9 passed and 1 failed. If you have even 1 failed in all the steps, the entire test case is failed.
Fail. Okay.
You cannot, since it's like you have 95% of my steps are passed and only 5% fail, I can let it go. No.
Okay.
Failed is failed.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes.
Rajesh, when we are actually executing the test cases, we are executing them on our machine, and we are writing this the test plan and all that on the VMware.
Correct.
That's what I just wanted to clarify.
Yes, because in the VMware, it doesn't allow you to access HTTPS.
Okay.
So that's the reason we are shifting between that.
Okay. Thank you.
Fine. So now you find that one of the steps is not meeting the expected of that particular step is not meeting the actual. So now you are supposed to raise a defect. So in the actual procedure, what happens? As soon as it comes, you will not raise a defect. You will take a screenshot, right? You will take a screenshot of that, like how I took and I put it here. I will fail that step. Okay, I will fail that step. Give me 1 second. Why is this coming? Yeah, I'll fail that step. I'll take the screenshot and then I brought it here, right? Where is that? Here. I've taken the screenshot and kept. Now what I will do, I will go to this particular test case, open the test case, go to attachments, and I'll upload it here. Go to desktop, you see here, I'll upload it here. I'll upload the screenshot here for my reference. Later, when you discuss with your team lead, right? When you discuss with your team lead, you show him the defect. So they will review that. Okay, and then say, okay, yes, they will have a discussion with the developer. Then the developer say, yes, that's a defect. So then you will go and raise the defect. Because sometimes what happens, you would be expecting it to work in certain steps. But as they are developing, right? When, say example, when the requirement came, you would have written the test case based on the requirements. But as they are developing, sometimes a certain way in it should be developed, it will not happen. So they might have made some changes in the development. That communication would have not come to you. So when you expect it to work in a certain way and it didn't work, it doesn't mean that there's a defect. So that is why we discuss with the developer. The developer will say, yeah, developer say, no, there was a change in the requirement. I don't know whether the communication happened with you guys. Now that is changed into this flow. Now you have to do in this activity this way in order to get that particular data. Then it's not a defect. You change your test case and pass it. If he says no, that's not the way. Yeah, but it should have shown data. I don't know why it is not showing data. When he talks in that language, go ahead and raise the defect. So now you already have the screenshot. So go to defects, click on new defect. Now here you have to explain in short what is the problem. So I'll say test case 01. Create patient, I'll say space, DOB, ELI, validation error. And then I will, during this period where before you are racing, you would have known what is the severity for it. The team lead would have told you what is the severity for it. Provide the severity. And then give the explanation of that particular issue and say that the screenshot is attached. Go and attach that particular screenshot here. So now all the information regarding that particular defect is here. Now when you submit it, it will automatically create a, see here it's created a defect and the defect ID is 5. Now what you need to do is go to test plan, link the defects. You see here, select that test case, go to link the defects and say link a defect, link existing defect. Provide the defect ID. We know defect ID is 5. Link. Now that defect has come here. So for this test case, you have linked the defect here. Guys, you are able to understand this. Any questions? Any questions? Fine. So this is how you work with your quality center. You first create a project. In the project, you can create requirements. Then that is being done by the BA. So you don't need to worry about that. Go to test resources, where you will create a folder for your test resources and upload all the documents that are required for that particular project. That is your test plan, test strategy. Go to test plan, create a folder, create your test cases with test steps. Right, in the parameter, put the test data in the parameter. Now go to test lab, create a test set, again create a folder, create a new test set, then go to execution grid, select the test cases that you want to put into this grid and do the execution. Any defect, fail the test case, go to defect, raise a defect for that particular test case and then link it. Now you can even link it with here also. Here in the execution grid also you have a linked defect, so you can go there and give test ID and link it here also. So even for this particular test set, we know how many defects were raised, how many test cases were there and how many defects were raised per test case. All the information will be available.